Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, here we go again. I guess let's just add this on to a segment I've done before. Democrats say the dumbest things. Well, time and time again, they prove to us that they live in some sort of parallel universe, another reality entirely. I guess a world where cause and effect don't exist. Or I guess probably a more accurate explanation. When reality hits Democrats in the face, rather than accept reality, no, they'd rather scream into the sky, play victim, or invent some sort of story that molds around their worldview, you know, just pull whatever out of your behind as long as it makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. As we know, typical Democrat thinking, right? Nothing is ever their fault. And when they experience backlash or lose on an issue, actually, they're not the problem. No, everybody else is the problem. It's Donald Trump's fault, or the institutions are against them. Well, Chuck Schumer's struggling the last couple days as his shutdown is falling apart, and well, he's delving into your typical Democrat behavior. He's now playing the victim in possibly the dumbest way imaginable, now making these grandiose claims that actually the mainstream media is working against the Democrat Party. This is one of the most idiotic and laughable statements ever uttered by a Democrat. I mean, it's pretty close to Hank Johnson suggesting that Guam might capsize due to its overpopulation. Maybe not that dumb, but, you know, kind of reaching the level in terms of dumb and disingenuousness. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we've got some powerful copium coming out of Chuck Schumer these days. Remember a couple weeks ago when he was suggesting that this New York Times poll that suggested Democrats were to blame for the shutdown, it was actually right-wing propaganda. The New York Times is biased towards Trump.
Now, I know the leader is going to show a poll that says Democrats will be blamed for the shutdown. There are many more polls that show Republicans are blamed. The question in that poll is biased. It's in the New York Times, but it's biased. If you turn the That's true. I don't always believe the New York Times. You can be sure of that. Neither do you.
The entire room started laughing at him, and obviously for good reason, because it's completely delusional. You know, the New York Times is a lot of things, but one thing it is not, and will never be probably, is right-wing biased. These are levels of copium previously unimaginable. And of course you would think, after having the entirety of Congress laugh in your face, that little Chucky boy here would probably understand that his new favorite talking points here probably aren't worth it. But of course, Democrats aren't exactly the introspective type, so Chuck Schumer now doubles down with an even dumber take.
I would ask my colleague, one of the greatest blows to democracy when we don't have a fully free press, and has it been a hallmark of so many of the countries that he has mentioned that are autocracies or absolute dictatorships, to have no free press, so no information can come out? And doesn't that dramatically hurt the American people? When government is shielded and can do whatever it wants and hurt as many people as it wants because you don't have a free press, doesn't it really shouldn't it really frighten every American that this is a large step on the road away from democracy towards tyranny and towards authoritarian government?
Oh, so you mean the mainstream leftist fake news media is now in bed with President Trump, protecting him? Give me a frickin' break. And you know, Chuck Schumer's not the only person who's been saying this. I've been hearing it from a bunch of different Democrats on their little media tours. They're actually now unironically trying to gaslight us into believing that the media is biased towards Trump in his favor. Give me a frickin' break. The mainstream media, the same journalism machine that has spent 10 years painting Donald Trump as a fascist, a traitor, a Russian plant, a COVID murderer, the boogeyman, a democracy-ending supervillain. Suddenly, they work for him? I mean, this is beyond dishonest spin. I think it's even beyond, copium and desperation at this point. I think little Chucky boy here is having a psychotic break. After 10 years of media leaks, of fake news journalism with sources familiar with the president's thinking, after 10 years of the walls are closing in, after study after study after study of over 90% of news coverage being negative towards President Trump, story after story that the media devotes zero airtime to because it's detrimental to the Democrats, I mean massive stories that they've ignored because it doesn't fit the left-wing narrative, after what they did with the Hunter Biden laptop fiasco, gaslighting the public as if it's Russian disinformation, and not the media just missing stories, no, purposely suppressing stories, you're gonna now tell us, as if we're stupid, as if we're morons, that the media works for Trump. I gotta say, this is probably the saddest point I've seen Democrats at. They've run through the gambit. They've tried everything at this point, everything but, running real campaigns and winning on the actual issues. And now this is where they're at. Ooh, the fake news leftist media is biased against us. It's absolutely idiotic. And of course, it's completely out of touch, which these establishment-style leftists continue to prove just how disconnected from reality they are. I mean, here's the perfect clip. We got Robert De Niro. I know, quite the political mind, quite the intellectual. Here he is now demanding that news outlets go on the offensive against President Trump and rural MAGA that apparently can't think for themselves.
They're trying to signal to the people they reach, and I'm certainly not reaching those people on this program, but maybe through little sound bites and this and that, and the internet and so on. They're used to seeing Trump do his stuff, and they talk and they listen, and that's the truth to them because they don't listen to anything else. Somewhere way out in the Midwest, somewhere out west, in certain places, the rural places. That's the truth. Because he gets the airtime, and I think that we need more airtime and just more push against, and you can't do this in some ways, but the news media could find ways to kind of ignore or tamp down nonsense from Trump. It's just total nonsense. But those people out there listen to it and assume if it can be on the air and it's out there, it's the truth.
Well, newsflash, little Bobby De Niro. They already do. What are you requesting here exactly? That the mainstream media attack, smear, and conspire against the President of the United States? That's been going on for 10 years. Where the hell have you been? It started full speed ahead, working overtime the moment President Trump came down that golden escalator. You're not exactly asking for something new here. And if you haven't realized, well, it hasn't exactly been working either. If anything, it's backfired spectacularly. Because normal people recognize being condescended to by a bunch of establishment mainstream hacks as opposed to getting the information straight. Robert De Niro's essentially calling on the media to re-educate rural Americans, but you've already tried that, and it hasn't worked. Because, well, newsflash to you, little Robbie boy, those rural Americans that you look down on, most of them are a whole lot smarter than you, and they can see through BS, especially your BS. They could smell it from a frickin' mile away. Oh my lord, I mean, Democrats have lost the plot. And obviously, they're just allergic to accountability and the truth. When the scoreboard looks bad, when it looks like they're on the decline or they're not doing well, they don't look at themselves, they don't work harder, they attack the scoreboard. Like a bunch of rabid animals ganging up on inanimate objects. Just like they're Antifa goons, right? Oh, let me smash this window. Oh, racism, BTFO'd. Frickin' morons. Well, let me tell ya, again, I'm not exactly in the business of giving you guys advice, but I guess it just kind of comes with the turf. My entire channel exposing liberal hypocrisy, in a way, indirectly, kind of serves the purpose of giving you guys advice. Well, here's some advice. You want to beat Trump? You want to build back better? Well, try reality. Try policies that win majority support. Try an actual message, real grassroots, instead of having George Soros fund all your fake campaigns. Maybe try not insulting the public's intelligence anytime something doesn't go your way. Oh, our student loan forgiveness thing has flopped. Oh, that's because all you frickin' Republicans are a bunch of stupid, uneducated rubes. Yeah, that's not a winning message. That's how clowns behave. I guess my message to you is stop being a bunch of clowns. Get your heads out of your behinds. Stop with these unbelievable levels of copium and get back to work and open up government while you're at it. Holy moly. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.